to come back to the first question, how can I effectively concentrate on the self or Brahman? When we talk about the self, it's a rather misleading word, the self, because when we talk about the self, we seem to be reifying it as the something. What we are to concentrate on, what we are to attend to, is only to ourself, not to any other thing called the self. And what is Brahman? Brahman is Tattvamasi. You yourself are that. So there's no Brahman other than you. So what we have to attend to is only to I. So we are not looking for something unknown, some unknown self or some unknown Brahman. There's no Brahman other than I. So Brahman is the one thing that we know always. The self, if we choose to use that term, is the one thing that we know always. Because the self is nothing other than ourself, nothing other than our own being. I am, that fundamental awareness I am. So that is the one thing we are always aware of. So all we need to do is to turn our attention away from everything that appears back towards ourself, the one to whom it appears. That's why Bhagavan often used to say, investigate to whom. Doesn't matter what may appear, to whom does it appear? When he says investigate to whom, he doesn't mean that we should ask the question to whom. What he means is we should turn our attention back towards ourselves, the one to whom all other things appear. So what we are to attend to is not any object, but only to the subject. Not to anything known, but only to the knower. Of course, the knower is known, but it's not, we don't know the knower as an object. We don't know ourselves as an object. So we are not attending to any object, we're attending only to the subject. So if we think of it of concentrating on the self or Brahman as if the self or Brahman was something other than ourselves, then we can ask how to effectively concentrate on it. But if we understand that the self or Brahman is nothing other than ourself, our own being, our own fundamental awareness I am, if we understand that, then it's just a matter of attending to ourselves, and of course, when we talk about attending to ourselves, first we need to understand what we are and what we are not. We are not this, now we seem to be this body, we seem to be this mind, but this body and mind, or this body consisting of 5 sheaths, which includes the mind, these are phenomena that appear and disappear. We're not aware of the body or mind when we're asleep. So these are things other than ourselves. What we're aware of in sleep is only our own being, I am. We're not aware of anything else whatsoever in sleep. In fact, most people mistake sleep to be a state of non-awareness or unconsciousness. But of course it's not, because we're aware of having been in a state in which we were aware of nothing. Aware of nothing means we were not aware of any objects or phenomena. But in spite of not being aware of any objects, we were aware of being in that state. So we were aware of our own being. We were aware of being without any awareness of anything other than ourselves. So that is the fundamental awareness of our own being. That is what we are trying to hold on to now. And that same awareness I am that was shining in sleep is shining now in waking and also in dream. The difference is now we have mixed and conflated that awareness I am with a set of adjuncts. Namely this body, this bundle of 5 sheaths called body, the body, the life, the mind, the intellect, and the will. All these 5, Bhagavan says, the body is a form of 5 sheaths. The 5 sheaths just refer to these 5. The physical form of the body, the life that animates it, and the mind, intellect, and will that function within it. These are the 5 sheaths. This is what we now experience as ourself. But all these things are objects known by us. This body is clearly an object known by us, though it seems to be ourself. We also we mistake it to be ourselves, but if we think about it, it's clearly an object. We can see it. It's something separate from ourselves. We can see it, we can feel it, and so it's an object known by us. Likewise, the prana, the life, the breath, all the physiological functions in the body, these are all objects known by us. And the mind, in this context, the word mind means the grosser functions of the mind, the perceptions, memories, thoughts, feelings, emotions, and so on. These are all objects known by us. They're all things that we know. They appear and they disappear in our view, so they're objects known by us. The intellect is that aspect of the mind that judges, discerns, discriminates. But all these functions of the intellect are all known by us. And the intellect is nothing but these functions. So intellect is something known by us. The will, in its grosser form, the will consists of likes, dislikes, desires, attachments, and so on. We all know these things. We all experience desires and dislikes and all these fears and so on. These are things known by us. They're objects. All these grosser forms of the will sprout from subtle inclinations, those inclinations called vasanas. Even these vasanas are known by us as objects. When we have an inclination to, it's the inclinations that sprout as a like or dislike, and they in turn sprout as desires and aversions and so on. So suppose we have a desire for, supposing we're very hungry, so we have desire for food. That desire arises from a liking. We have a liking for food. Why do we like food? Because we need food to nourish this body, which we take to be ourselves. And so we have an inclination to like food. And that inclination to like food gives rise to a liking, and the liking gives rise to a desire. So all these aspects of the will, from the subtlest aspect, which is the vasana, the seeds, but sprout as all the other, the likes, dislikes, desires, attachments, hopes, fears, and so on. These are all sprouted forms of these seeds called vasana, the basic inclinations. So these are all objects known by us. So who am I who know all these things? To whom do all these things appear? To whom do all these likes and dislikes appear? To whom do all these desires and fears appear? To me, who am I? We turn our attention back to ourselves. It's not a matter of asking the question, to whom, to me, though sometimes we may, it's useful to ponder on the questions, but the actual practice is not just asking the question. The actual practice is turning our attention back towards ourselves, the one to whom all these things appear.